Sometimes on the channel we like to make videos about things that people have said. It's a very cut and paste kind of format for video topics, but when it comes to a topic like this, man was this hilarious. I had to go out there and talk about this because when it comes to the Montreal Canadiens and the Columbus Blue Jackets, hey, everybody still got that buzz, right? Everybody's still coming off of that high. That was the Patrik Laine trade, and how the Montreal Canadiens grabbed themselves a legit top 6 sniper, along with a draft pick, in exchange for Jordan Harris. Pretty good deal. I think a lot of Canadiens fans are happy with it. I actually haven't seen any Canadiens fan express any negative emotions towards this trade, to be honest. But either way, with the Patty Laine conversation coming and going to Montreal officially, there's a lot of extra discourse that you could go out there and bring up in regards to the way he left the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, we had made a video just a few days ago talking about how there were 4 CBJ veterans revealed that actively had a meeting at some point over the past few years and concluded, hey, Patrik Laine, he's a problem. We've got to trade this guy. Nyquist, Seth Jones, Zach Werenski, and Cam Atkinson were the 4 names that we had discussed in that video. And with all of that conversation looming over everybody's head, it feeds into this bigger idea that Patrik Laine was a locker room cancer. Was he this? Was he that? The Blue Jackets players didn't like him. Laine was an unlikable guy. Like, there are so many different things thrown and tossed out there that we don't really know what to believe, really. But the conclusions from many of the Columbus beat reporters were that people in the Blue Jackets organization did seem to have a problem with this guy at some point, and a good chunk of them ended up getting traded themselves. No more Seth Jones, Cam Atkinson, or Gustav Nyquist in the CBJ organization. Only Zach Werenski remains, but those were just 4 of the guys that were discussed in the Patrik Laine isn't a good fit for this team discussion that we had already had a few days ago. Now, when it comes to those other ideas, the locker room cancer, this and that, you had yourselves Craig Button going out there on the Sick podcast with Tony Marinaro, and it was really, really funny. He absolutely popped off on the Columbus Blue Jackets, and if you listen to the clip, I'm going to leave a link in the description to this Twitter user, Slavkovsky. Yeah, I'm just going out there and reading how their username is put out. But they tweeted this out, Craig Button losing his mind at the Blue Jackets is sending me, and included is a 1-minute audio clip of the recent Sick podcast with Tony Marinaro and Craig Button. The individual video that was posted here had 125,000 views on Twitter, almost 1,000 likes, a whole bunch of retweets, a whole bunch of replies, and 232 saves. Particularly because this clip is absolutely hilarious. Go do yourself a favor and listen to the clip yourself. Give the Sick podcast a listen. I'm not going to play it on this video because, copyrighted material. I don't want to steal stuff from their show, but I will recommend you go out there and listen to it yourself. To help us out, though, with what it is that Craig Button talks about in this article, we're going on to sportskita.com because a piece published by Abhilasha Aditi goes out there and transcribes some of the comments made by Button on this audio clip. Now, we're going to read some of the comments here, and I want you to keep in mind, when Craig Button says this on the podcast, he is upset. Like, he is literally angry. He's livid. You could tell in the way that he's like kind of screaming about it. But he opens the entire thing by saying, I'm sick and tired about hearing of players. And then Craig Button goes and like, oh, you can't win with them. They've got bad attitudes. Like, he's poking fun at the masses in the commentary. It's hard to transcribe that on a quote, but the real issue, Button said, is Columbus's management and ownership. Button says, you know who you couldn't win with? The Columbus Blue Jackets, and the mess of a management and ownership they've had for years, Button said. They hired Mike Babcock last summer, and when he says that, like, he's so loud and kind of screaming into the mic that it kind of clips and it statics itself out. It's so funny if you listen to the quote. But he's like, yeah, they hired Mike Babcock last summer. Give me a break. Players should be going, I don't think I can win in Columbus with this group. Why do you think Don Waddell is the new GM? It's a joke. And then Button hits us with this. I'd love for a player to say, I don't think I can win here with this coaching, this management, or this ownership. What has Columbus been in this league? They've been a game on the schedule, and that's all they've ever been since they entered the league in 2000. And I'm kind of like laughing, having a good time talking about this, and I'm sure if you're listening to the audio clip, you're also having a good time. But if you haven't listened to the clip, Craig Button is angry. He is really, really upset about the way Columbus and the narratives stirred up about them and Patrik Laine being some sort of a locker room cancer have manifested into the discourse that we're seeing today in NHL circles. I mean, I don't want to say that he's wrong, per se. When has Columbus ever been, like, a threat? Or when have they actually had themselves a big dub? I'll tell you what, they had the really amazing playoff run, not even a run, but the one series against Tampa Bay, when they swept the literal best regular season team the NHL had ever seen, Tampa Bay Lightning squad, in, I believe that was 2019? I forgot when it was, but either way, that was like the only dub the Columbus Blue Jackets have ever had. Realistically, Craig Button going out there and laying the smack down on an entire organization by calling them out, saying that they haven't won anything, saying that the narratives about, oh, Patrik Laine, he's this, he's that, you can't win with this guy. I get where Button is coming from. Like, who are you to go out there and dictate this narrative that you can't win with this kind of player when you yourself are a team that can't win? I think it's taken a few shots at the Columbus... Do I want to say the Columbus media? Maybe not the media per se, but just kind of the narratives that have been going around there, because it's all from Columbus. I mean, it was Aaron Portzline, I believe, who reported the stuff about Nyquist, Jones, Werenski, and Atkinson all kind of ganging up on Patrik Laine. Not really ganging up, but like all contributing to a discussion where they said, yeah, we should trade this guy. And it's why this clip on Twitter went so viral in the way that it did. I mean, all the comments, all the replies are going out there and saying, hey, he's not really wrong. But that is a crazy thing to say about an NHL team. They are just a game on a schedule. They're just a moment on the calendar that you approach, you confront, then you scratch it off and go on to the next day. What a way to talk about a National Hockey League franchise. And you know what? I want to go out there and give some props to it, because this, of course, was very entertaining, and I thought that many Canadiens fans would have had a kick out of it. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Craig Button absolutely going off on the Columbus Blue Jackets in response to the Patrik Laine trade. What are your thoughts on his assessment? What are your thoughts on his angry comments and the way that he feels NHL players and media and potentially even fans should be viewing the Columbus Blue Jackets? Are they more than just a date on the calendar? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.